GPPAC and its Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict is a global network led by civil society organizations actively working to prevent violent conflict and build a more peaceful society. The network is composed of 15 regional networks with specific priorities and agendas for their environment. In Southeast Asia, GPPAC has 40 more NGO members and collaborates with other civil society groups related to peace and human rights. IID, stationed in the Philippines, becomes GPPAC Southeast Asia Regional Secretariat. The Southeast Asian GPPAC is led by a group of regional committees composed of country focal points such as Malaysia, Indonesia, and Myanmar, and subnational focal points in areas of past or ongoing conflict such as Aceh, Mindanao, West Papua, and Deep South Thailand. As RSG members, each focal point convenes its national and subnational networks and links members to the global GPPAC network. Timor-Leste has been a friend of the GPPAC since 2005 and actively contributes to the exchange, collective learning, and fundamental experiences in the reconciliation and peace process. To bring a diverse and proactive peace-building network in Timor-Leste, the Foundation accession to Timor-Leste's national network of GPPAC will lead to the objective of enhancing a partnership for a more inclusive peace process, building solidarity and these policies based on human security. At the launch, CNC Executive Director Hugo Fernandez spoke about Timor-Leste's experience in preventing conflict.
Centro Chega has been involved with GPPAC activity for at least the last 3 years. I was invited by New South Wales University in organizing one of the international conference 2 years ago to share Timor-Leste experience, and that network have to be functioning, have to be doing things, not only gathering for events. And that's always the position of Centro Chega when joining any particular network. So I want to put Centro Chega just to the checklist of any network. And that's also what I've said many times to the National Network for Conflict Prevention. Say that we have to do things. We can just not get invitations and participating in events. And every institutions, every organization that join the network, they have their own capacity. And we have to have a joint effort in order to look at what we can do together. For us at Centro Chega, during the last week meeting here, I said we have a couple of things that I hope that the network can hands in hands join the advocacy. We have a lot of things that Centro Chega and others here can contribute in order to not directly preventing the armed conflict, but that can be a process that for policymakers to think about, that we need to working on some issues that may lead into the prevention of conflict in the future. So thank you again for coming to this event, and of course Centro Chega has been a member of the network, and then we hope that our participation will continue to provide some substantial inputs to the network. So that was what I would like to say. But thank you for Mount Luis, Mana Tekla, Mana Cristina, Corey from Belon, from Rancavia, and everyone from the Human Rights Center, UNPL, from Peace Study Center. Professor Antero is not here, but last week meeting was very great. We have former MP Adriano was here, Professor Antero. Unfortunately, Manalita is unable to participate. Again, I saw her message today, unable to participate because not a meeting at the National Parliament. And I see the strength of this network from the people who have been putting the interest, not only interest, but also hopefully to share the experience in how to prevent the conflict. Particularly, we don't talk about stopping the war in Syria, in Ukraine, but at least we can help the community to see that the conflict always bring victims in both sides. There is no conflict that there's a one win and one lose. It's always winners and losers, but then how we can prevent it. So in that, I would like to thank you everyone. Thank you Mangas for leading us to the event, and we hope that you have continued to support GPPAC global network, but also regional network to support the new chapter for the new network national level. And we expect that the Ombudsman will be joining as well. G7 Plus will be joining. Minister of Interior, Mana Deliras here, not longer yet, but National Network for Conflict Prevention also will join, and also from the MPL. So we hope that the network will be growing, but we have to look at what we can do. It's just not the name of the network, but we have to do something. It's not something. Two different strategies. So Cesar was asking about if we do solidarity. A lot of times, many times, that solidarity becomes something that people are allergic to talk about that. I think only ia mekanismo bara kali kata tu grupo bahira sempre chega a maneira no kata no da Instituto Público da alerta para colega Sira kata ia dalam oi kita tu kuliah o governo e dalla Roma e aquela bebê que dalla nemos será farto por então ita maior capacidade de instituição bebê mais forte dalla Roma quer política também quer brief notes também né dalla Roma quer convence de usira do que depois ita aquela bebê lurong aquela bebê que nós Laos é importante aquela bebê lurong né parte da usi educação pública mas vemos que tem que ir meios de usar maka bela halo intervenção sira nebe bela retang atenção so hamoi solidariedade bela musuh ia maneira hoje né Laos é maneira balum foti extra parlamentar balum foti maneira dialog maneira kuliah ho decision maker sira né e depois metade dalam barang se how nota durante né ita minha advocacia né sempre mais tarde tem advocacia né mais tarde e ita reconhece data dalam rumah política pública mesmo só os público itu dalam rumah dari repente na saya mebe ita barang dia reaktif buat rumah negara musuh, mas kita lá proativamente liusi mekanisme sampai ia atau hal aproximação. Então, homem jalan nakloke, ba insama conversar, claro, ia prática kita bele kahit kapaz paman dalam rumah grupo ne husi silent approach, bebe kolega sira continua bel halo noise anesan al papa haruka. Nebe sempre ia maneira hoje insama kita halo aproximação agora tamanema ka kami sudah bersiri dan nebe mengaku hulu nebe parceria importante solidariedade importante para tudo na fatin Timor Leste de compromisso ita ia tusang voto si solidariedade si país elu vai ter luta ita mosi obrigação tu estende na parte de solidariedade só que a maneira que estende mesmo da rumah kita tem que ir a aproximação e dan memang kan baik hari dan memang yang bel orang lain bel opta ia politik noi hoy am explica kata da rumah kita ia maneira hoy né kita hari kita nota ia organização sociedade civil bara que Timor né atau solidariedade de usa declaração pensa kalau manifestação essa bandeira e ita também ne ready board envolvemos organização instituição do Estado união governo união então solidariedade ne bela toda de maneira ou ele usa declaração ne bema dulu atau parte serai conflito ne bela tama ideal tambah base ba rede da nela diálogo o sama ka parte sira cumprido né bela com a solução da menina né para depois efeito né la bela a escalação o dio ba afeta emani morista então ida né met halo ita a experiência diálogo hoje Timor particularmente a diálogo hoje diálogo dari 1 dari 2 dari 3 e a resolução conflito barak mahalo ita ia ras experiência e conflito entre ita apresenta mecanismos que resolve bem barak itu solidariedade tá tudo isso tem apoio direto mas isso diálogo do grupo se para muito aquela boa turma de a minha experiência tem cari me deve considera usa a experiência Timor né contextualiza e a conceito não usa da maneira de resolver ita tama ya ready né muda partida mas sama faz experiência Timor então será o importante se liderança será ready para né o regional nemos maia né será aprecia a iniciativa da Timor tudo Timor continua tudo muda país irá mais esse conflito e é tempo na hora e da simo solidariedade se grupo hoje e a governo nos apoio mas é rede nem na cloque para a organização social civil instituto público civil atu tama mai também rede da mesma para luang a limite bela bela organização da e a organização itu maka sai da comissão organizadora a mim continua possível na fatin sem marcar sem membro sem marcar mais para muito apoio e solidariedade se vamos e a atividade devemos trabalhar muito para depois bela apoio.
Mr. Gus Miklat, as the GPAC Regional Committee, will share about GPAC's work and intervention for the solidarity.
Before I talk about what GPAC is all about, maybe we can first watch a very short video about what it is, and then I'll delve into it more in detail in the context of Southeast Asia and our local context, and then we take it from there. So let's watch this short video about what GPAC is. GPAC is the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict.
Resolve before they turn violent. At GPPAC, we have the expertise to develop and implement non-violent solutions. For 14 years, we have been supporting and connecting people building peace in 15 regions worldwide, with more than 200 members and 20 gender experts. The Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict, GPPAC, is a member-led network of civil society organizations, CSOs. We focus on root causes of conflict and promote a culture of peace through dialogue and mediation, peace education, and civil-military police coordination for human security. For example, in the Western Balkans, GPPAC secured a commitment from teachers, practitioners, and the Ministries of Education of Serbia and Montenegro to integrate peace education into official school curricula. In countries with a history of election-related violence, such as Kenya, Kyrgyzstan, or Fiji, GPPAC members exchange experiences. They proactively promote the responsible behavior of state actors, media, and civil society to prevent the escalation of violence. Our work is locally driven and our approach is bottom-up. This way, we offer access to the views and needs of the local population. We believe that sustainable peace can only be achieved if the solutions to conflict are defined and owned by those affected by it. Conflict causes and effects spill over national borders. Our regional networks enable us to respond to the complexities of regional conflicts. We connect the experiences of hundreds of organizations and peace practitioners worldwide to national, regional, and international levels. Peace is not achieved overnight. The prevention of conflict
From Belum, from Chega, from Southeast Asia Women's Mediators Network, Habada, CEPAD, and Peace Education Center from Unti. Did I forget one, the other one? And Radio Karambiak, of course. This is the G7, the group of 7, GPAC 7. If there is a small G7 office there, led by Helder da Costa of Fragile States, and there is a big G7 that meets in Geneva and everything, there is a GPAC 7 here in Dili. That will be behind hopefully the fruition and the broadening of this GPAC Timor-Leste network. Welcome us. But before I do that, I just wanted to say also that I don't know if all of you are aware that starting tomorrow, there will be a so-called ASEAN Civil Society Conference and ASEAN People's Forum. That will happen here in Timor. Even if Timor is not yet a member of ASEAN, but the peoples of the region in Southeast Asia consider the Timorese people as one with us, and that is why we are holding it here. And thanks to our friends in the civil society networks in Timor, they are hosting us starting tomorrow. Why am I mentioning that? Because ACSC, APF, that process is very much linked to what we do in GPAC. In GPAC, during ACSC's APF, we initiate or organize workshops on themes on peace building and human security, and that would be one of the. I heard something about solidarity from our friend, and I think you are right that to us solidarity is two-way. It is not just one way. Solidarity is a continuing engagement. It's a continuing relationship, in fact. And I think that's one thing I wanted to stress, that in any undertaking, in any endeavor, it's very important that relationships are built and consolidated and broadened. In fact, this undertaking now, the launch of GPAC Timor-Leste, would not have been possible if we didn't have those relationships with each other, as engendered by the solidarity we had for each other. We did establish or help establish the Asia Pacific Coalition for East Timor before, but it was not just us. It was with other regional friends and activists some of whom will be here for the ACSC APF, which I mentioned. And it was also in partnership and in solidarity with some of your, at that time, who were not yet government, in the resistance. Everybody was in the resistance. Fretilin, Sirati, Unity. They were in relationship with each other at that time, and we were in relationship with them at that time and in support. And so that is very, I think, important to remember and to build and to deepen relationships. And it is because of these relationships we had with friends like Hugo, Luis, Jonato, Nella, Antero, Joanda, Lita, Adriano, all of those who came together as volunteers for this steering group to come together and proceed and develop the idea of a GPAC Timor-Leste network. And we didn't really do anything. I mean, Tuan and myself and Safina in IID were, it was just the wave of initiative from Timor that made this happen, and I am so happy that this happened, and we hope that this will be replicated, modeled all around. The spirit of solidarity, of relationship, and spontaneity. This was a spontaneous undertaking, and now you have the GPAC TL7. I don't want G7 because we might be confused with that small G7 plus of Helder and the big G7 of the imperial countries. This is the GPAC TL7. So the 7 volunteers, steering group, which is ad hoc in nature, they will continue to proceed. and invite everyone who's here and beyond to be part of the broader GPAC Timor network. It will be Mana Tekla so far, and Luis has been in consensus by the 7 members to act as our liaison with the regional secretary or some sort of focal point. And Antero will be the maybe honorary elder, elder, legend behind them. So I thank each one of you, and of course I thank my team also in IID. One who is the GPAC liaison officer for Southeast Asia, but he's managing a program within IID that where GPAC program is. Safina, our program manager for the RESIST program, who will be speaking tomorrow and the next day at ACSC, APF, so please come and listen to her. But she will also be meeting some of you with regards to some of our other initiatives on resisting militarization, resisting authoritarianism, and the creeping and the shrinking civic space in the region, of which we are also in partnership with other networks here, like the Asia Democracy Network, wherein Karel is here, the advocacy officer of ADN, IIDs, or GPAC. GPAC is part of ADN, the Asia Democracy Network, and it will be launched also. The Southeast Asia ADN will be also launched here on the 20th of the evening of the 20th. And if I may, Karel, I invite you all, whoever is available, to attend the launch of the Asia Democracy Network Southeast Asia. It will be held at the Electoral Commission premises, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock on the 20th. So please come and join that too. So you see, these relationships are interlocked and interrelated. Democracy, peace building, conflict prevention, what have you. And I think what is important is to understand our respective niches, but at the same time our respective roles in enriching each other's niche and the collective niche that we have, that we are developing in this beautiful planet of ours, or in this beautiful, gentle, and brave land of Timor-Leste is so welcoming of initiatives like ours. So thank you very much, and my blessings to you.
Mana Leonidia Tekla will take us to know the idea of the strategic plan of the joint initiative with GPAC Timor-Leste's priorities for the future.
Nessa rede da Avenida Doce Organização da Sociedade Civil, Molok GPAC Nehari, nessa não é mal quase explicar kata siramos apoio e o movimento Sira Solidariedade para Timor-Leste durante a luta pela libertação do Congresso Carne. Nós ainda nem viu essa atopele ativamente serviço de prevenir conflito violento Sira, não mostra isso Sira e da nebe maka pacífica de. Ita pode ser pela região kata quase o regional muito senolo resin lima. Nebe maka mai hodinian ideias nomos você aprende bamalo ita bele lori caso sira você papane Southern Pailang nian você Bangsamoro você Aceh a colega Kajuanda di sini depois mos kari mos si Myanmar ita nia sua excelência presidente mos rola parte ativamente iha caso sira ne hawanoi idia balu nebe maka amina hira troca tiona durante hasoromado da hira kata que forum diálogo é importante nós aturune e tinha contribuição para solidariedade no parceria bele husi masidane e kusli advocacia nessa não empana beta botsira kata advocacia para ante husi rede né não posso ita botsira e também encontro sira e também hasai informação ser lebema que também ajuda o governo no estado no kusli pesquisa nessa não hamau tuhuninha intervenção no mos discurso kata importante atu itabele iha influência vai a decisão será na bema bela apoio do governo. Então, você pesquisa será na bema que iha também o entela não é ela kata o entela dia teve se quer no pesquisa mantero halo livro barak né iha aquelas páginas né então não é kata você experiência ser na bem iha peritos ser na bem ser iha que ser na área e também mos iha pesquisa ser na bem bela ajuda dados ser na bem iha também governo. Sede makbela sai membro ba iha GPPAC Timor-Leste niya. Hanoy aminain grupo hito na bem ohin presente. Iha itabot ser niya ohin bolo fufol. Neato representa o Estado bele funciona voluntariamente bele husi sede bele husi instituição público bele mosusi sociedade civil bele mosusi confissões religiosas bele mosusi acadêmicos sira então ainda temos lá takadalam baina instituição sira nessa Força de Defesa Timor-Leste não mos PNTR então ita quase haro serviço na bem maka acesso sira nem hotu ita ni objetivo ida makikus ensaio tabel hari tanian sociedade sila morisi resiliência iranere tamane maka awanoin idane lokelet ba itabot sira kata itabele ajuda malo atubele halometik bot rumah dia klaus reden yang narang de ane saya mau berihan lao si tareret ba narang reden de mas isa reden hamrik atubele apoio do governo hatudu kata existência e haduni osirne ação concretos. Rede parceria global para prevenção do conflito armado, nehawanoin ne rede fortida, rede fong ne bema foi estabelece, mas vida nelas fong rede nelas fong tamba Timor-Leste, iha quase Timor-Wan ne bema que experiência dia close, ba iha solidariedade ba movimento sira, ba iha fundasikan beliau ko apoio ba movimento sira numa solidariedade sira pela parte tihona iha GPPAC global niya então itanian envolvimento ni habu kena society nan 2025 nebema composto sigas Timor-Wan sira então idani inisiativa nebema kedia close atu bele lori rede ne maimos Timor-Leste iha nebe rede global ba iha GPPAC ne global ne nia opera tihona iha quase região sanulu resindima debe composto de quase membro hatnu nebe não governamental, não governamental, deve ir a iniciativa sociedade civil. Então, tinang sempre íamos fórum em Nova York e Assembleia Geral ONU, nós precisamos liamos a sociedade civil. Então, a rede em iniciativa em Timor-Leste, onde sabe bela ajuda a parceria barak de o rede sira na bemaka existe na Timor-Leste, a nessa rede nacional prevenção conflito, e a rede nacional para mediação. Nós iha rede advocacia sida rede gênero ano ainda né para processos iniciativa sociedade civil nós governo né nós iha advocacia barak na bem macalo beliau nós vai iha prevenção nós proteção sira para defender direitos humanos nós injustiça sira Timor-Leste então rede GPPAC Timor-Leste de existência atu bele hasae capacidade sira na bem macalo advocacia de actividade e de termos parceria nós solidariedade então Hanoi sira né existe atu bele halo colaboração de actividade com o governo Timor-Leste.
Next, we will listen to a message from Mr. Antero Bendito as an Academic Peace Center UNTEL.
Antero message because he have been many years, as Mangu mentioned, involved in GPPAC since 2005. Dear friends and distinguished guests, for some reason I could not join everyone in such a special meeting of GPPAC, in which our long time friend, Mr. Gus Mikla of International Initiative for Dialogue is also present. Insofar as the regional solidarity for East Timor independence when Camarada Gus, along with Mr. Renato Constantino, known as Regional Committee of the Philippines, are legends to whom the Maubere people should be proud of. They were the ones who brilliantly organized the first Asia-Pacific Coalition for East Timor at the University of the Philippines in mid-1994, which I happened to witness, and for the first time breaking ASEAN silence over the crimes of Suharto military regime in Indonesia. now that Timor-Leste is an independent country, but it's not the end of solidarity. Solidarity should be forever renowned. As the Pope put, fraternidade humana is a common desire of humanity and will always be there in one way or the other. To end, I would like to raise your attention that what many, including us in this forum, might also concern about how can Timor-Leste will be possible to overcome the current status of economic dependence on petroleum resource and to be able to build an economy that is self-sufficient and no-ground. How will the people of Timor-Leste come to realize that we cannot afford to be forever dependent on the national founding leaders to run the country? A new generation of leaders should be born. Obviously, we will expect the GPPAC network will play perhaps multi-level intervention to contribute in addressing some of these new challenges. We wish that GPPAC network may also pay attention to continental issues such as self-determination, which still remain a topic to many oppressed nations. To mention some such as West Sahara, West Papua, and the people of Gaza in Palestine. Wishing you a great meeting in solidarity. Antero Benedito da Silva, Peace Center of UNTL. Thank you.
Colloquio di chiacchiere pesquisa solidário no Brasil. Having pesquisa bote livro bote io angulo lima naman taruma iremos contribuir para cumprir con dami dari bane angulo lima ne atas satu atumus namanya mai kusi konkreta baru waktu angulo livro angulo bote mus também having pesquisa
Os lokeluan ba ONG sira tot ka sociedade civil toma nebe sira interesse ba assunto sira nebe liga ba a solidariedade no satu assunto ewe atbele saya se quando tal G7 ne dia mai da rumamos pela limita e televisão ba atividade ready a futuro também nebe associado na itu ya idene awareness estão ne e depois ONG hira nebe am sirmus amu sirmus ia serviço logo que a advocacia boa governação nomos e pesquisa e nem liga diretamente ao missão de apresenta da maneira kami anu aprecia e depois belemos encoraja parceiro sira também apelo nele bele encoraja colega sira bele tamar redi dane at bele serviço amu a bela rita redi dane at bele halo advocacia dia kita telefon
Kami hanoi itu precisa buat sih rasanya tambah mudah sabot ini rai itu leader sirane maka ho ita sirane ulu kamu tu luta sim sudah internasional bagai depois jukunan kita começar mihis atau fofar sudah dari maka ohin kita deve helan então kita tem que buka news para tu bele usa jeito selufan lanesan akila dia hal mas jeito selufan Ami ia fundação mai ami 16 anos zona e herda ami quase cada semana né ami halo analisa conflitos se itinerai politica decisão política pública itinerai de mesmo ami halo de itu quase que semana né ami publica ia dia gua
Awak kan kata grupo ni foi hahu ami na itu ne asa organização itu na vale voluntário começa a ter preparação lá to onjor ya nebe mabe existência grupo ne moço que dizia di rua lima oi asa licença oi ya terminar na ba ho timorwan ativista jovem ser conhecido ou ser em dia grupo ser mesmo moço ali ne moço bele contribuir ali ne ba cara força de tamba laos dia be grupo ne dia lagi foi na rua Hoy harus sidau ia putruma. Programa hoy mana teka hatone Niya mo, si Melamin tata, sana makita to be lamoy.
Okay, good.
Taunaran G7, neba grupo kikuan umin hito nede. May be con certeza kata kita tahu nak atin GPPAC Timor Leste. Ato nane hotu iha larang hola partiu. Tahun noin maknede titanya sa sound bagi diskusão.
So Ambassador Sahara made a short speech about the conflict.
The Global Partnership for Prevention of Armed Conflicts, GPPAC, for establishing new branch in Timor-Leste. The world needs more culture of peace. And through this culture of peace, we can diffuse armed conflicts before they escalate. Unfortunately, in Western Sahara, still there is armed conflict because of illegal occupation to Western Sahara land. But with the culture of peace, we all can solve it. Western Sahara is the last Africa's colony that remains a non-self-governing territory under the UN Special Committee since it was listed in 1963. Many believe that the age of colonialism is over. It is not. On the UN maps of remaining non-self-governing territories in Africa, there is last remaining colonial question left. Morocco still occupies a large part of the Sahrawi Republic, Western Sahara, and obstructs the decolonization process. On 1975, the former territory colonial power abandoned Western Sahara without finalizing the process of independence. On the UN, as the UN had demanded, instead it allowed Morocco military force to invade the territory in a violation of international law and the decision from the International Court of Justice in The Hague. In the court, thus the court has not found legal ties of such a nature as might affect the application of the General Assembly Resolution 1514 in the decolonization of Western Sahara, and in particular the principle of self-determination through the free and genuine expression of the will of the people of the territory. International Court of Justice, 16 October 1975. The UN General Assembly deeply deplores the aggravation of the situation resulting from the continued occupation of Western Sahara by Morocco and the extension of the occupation to the territory recently evacuated by Mauritania, UN General Assembly Resolution 3437, 1979. Morocco's illegal military invasion to Western Sahara met with a strong resistance from the Sahrawi people who had organized under the National Liberation Movement Polisario Front for the freedom and independence of Western Sahara. On 27 February 1976, the Sahrawi people proclaimed the Sahrawi Republic as independent state and has been recognized and established diplomatic relations with many countries in all over the world, and it is a founding member of the African Union. The UN and the African Union, Organization of African Union, now African Unity, jointly brokered ceasefire and abandoned an elaborated settlement plan approved by the UN Security Council in the Resolution 658 of 1990 and 690 of 1991. The later resolution also established a United Nations mission for the referendum in Western Sahara, and the mission called MINURSO, to monitor the ceasefire and to organize a referendum as the Sahrawi people in order to allow the people to determine their own future. The Sahrawi people's right to self-determination is supported by more than 100 UN resolutions, by the above-mentioned important opinion of the International Court of Justice, and so far by various rulings of the European Court of Justice that say that Western Sahara and Morocco are separate and distinct territories, and that Morocco has no sovereignty over Western Sahara. On 13 November 2020, and after 29 years of the respect of the ceasefire agreement, Morocco violated the ceasefire, attracting Sahrawi. Morocco violated the ceasefire, and in protest attacked civilians, people who were protesting against the theft of the natural resources of Western Sahara. And unfortunately, this escalated the conflict. The only viable, lasting, democratic and transparent solution for the issue of Western Sahara is through UN supervised self-determination referendum like what happened here in Timor-Leste. That would enable the people of Western Sahara to choose freely their own future. The UN has the full responsibility for completing the decolonization of the territory of Western Sahara. And thank you very much.
After that, the executive director of Radio Rakambia summarized the involvement of the G7 network in GPPAC.
GPPAC Timor-Leste existe hoje para providas com a G7. Itane sa minha core grupo PPAN ia então dane maka tu halibu itarotu. Nebe GPPAC Timor-Leste existe antes ona, mas be nessa hoje temi mantero no terceiro tá. E daí nessa será contribuição halo tena ia 2005 levar. No agora será organização que tu nem atuar e continuar atuar muito com rede terceiro, não é só nos mãos terceiro o governo atuar nem atuar força que está bolsa de serviço. Jadi daí lá os atuar compete, mas be hatutar, não vamos a força revista de vida não existe, mais entidades de sociedade civil, não vamos governo será. Então ainda não vamos ia na barra do caminho movimento na barra, também a então ia na barra RMTL rede mídia Timor-Leste. Então a mim deve convidamos colega mídia terceiro mais para estar tua advocacia dia que está no mídia campaigns bar que está com a prevenção conflito. Ho também a revista não existe ona. Também da barra que também dia limita informação acesso informação será. Então revista rebe que itu existe para tu reforça a revista terceiro, a tu ita serve sai matan tiro ibu liamba povo na sociedade dane. Também maka ita ia existe ba revista ne. Rebe anoi membership serve na fatinha sang boleh será teteona kata ita sai bara kita hamutu kita força litan para tu ne berprevenção. Tapi ita Timor-Leste mos conflito bara deve ser moço. Dadang nemos bara com ele Facebook sempre suelia bamalo. Então hoi dali itania missão maka o insight buka solução. Ita lau sai inimigo ka ita lau sai counter alo argumento ne pela dia nebe itania monitorização atu hari passo prevenção e uso solução. Nebe itania solidariedade nebe asa mau até kata ia tipo oi maneira oi nebe tem solidariedade lá solidariedade ação ita sai samba colega sira a família balu vítima Bebe o isa ita besi pasira. Ita bele aproxima ser halo diálogo. Ita nemos hasai ser minha tristeza, ita bele halo prevenção ia na vai. Ita halo ia behave chance, ba cultura nebe sempre existe o conflito. Então ita ia registar né, ita mai muito, atau força de ita registar selo para halo prevenção. Halo internet maka GPPAC Timor-Leste existe. Nós obrigado para no welcome by the botsira no ami bele halibur ita muito ita no força ita e a prevenção conflito. Obrigado.
Through the formulation and consolidation of national networks, GPPAC Timor-Leste can help other GPPAC members to reflect on their own process to strengthen national or local GPPAC networks. The launch of GPPAC was held on September 16, 2024 at CNC Balidi Dili. Members of GPPAC are GPPAC, CNC, Halibadame, Cepat, Radio Rakambia, Belung, and CUWPM.